Hi, this is MTB214. Thanks for stopping by this channel. Thank you, subscribers, new and old. We're at 500 now. Woo! So happy about that. 1,000 is next. I know it's going to take them a little bit of time. That's fine. On to the video. I just finished reading When the Grid Fails, Easy Action Steps When Facing Disasters by Kai Fernu. She's from Australia, down under, mate. I never heard of her before. She's like, has a lot of experience with different things. So it says, about survival scenarios. She's a survivalist, award-winning stunt woman, TV host, and motivational speaker. So she's done a lot, like, what was that? Braving a 12,000-foot mountain climb and negative 22-degree temperatures. She also shares the beauty of the Australian bush in her Discovery and Sunmate series Outback Lockdown. This is the barcode if you'd want to try and find this. I got this from Five Below, and actually in April, and I'm a little behind. I read this from the 5th of this month until tonight. So there's a lot of pictures in it. It doesn't take that long. There's a lot of great information in this. So I found this fitting to read because, like, with what happened in Jamaica, the terrible Hurricane Melissa, and like the craziness of the world in general, as sort of visual, I have a auto first aid kit here because it mentions first aid kits. Doesn't say like for a car specifically, but it says have a first aid kit. So she has a lot of pictures and different things with it. I actually didn't know if it's a woman or man by the name Kai at first, but there's a lot of chapters in this about natural disasters, like, fires, earthquakes, floods, hurricanes, tornadoes, tsunamis, about like them happening, and like, having preparations of like food supply, water supply, a go bag, like some people call it bug out bag or like bug in bag, of what to do. And also like having a positive attitude that, like, you have to plan, like, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So different natural disasters, and like how much like prediction there is from it, and like, get out of harm's way, and like, look at all that destruction from something very sad. So it's like you have to think about like helping yourself and helping others, and like, if the structure of your home is safe, about having food and shelter and water and different things like that, and like different things in your go bag. Have water, a lighter, that's to start a fire, ferro rod, and have like emergency blankets, ponchos, tarps, thermoses, socks, underwears, hats, like, be ready for everything. Ration, some sort of pot, a spork, paracord, and it says later in the book about actually making rope from natural materials. Have fishing hook and line, multi-tool. I actually have basically the same sort of multi-tool that I keep with me always. She goes on also about like different places to stay and all, like wilderness fires and what to do for safety, and how to like stop a fire from coming towards you, different things to do. Have preparation, phone charger, flashlight, batteries, blankets, first aid kit, signaling device. And she goes into details about this later in the book, about like, and different scenarios, what can happen no matter, like, different places around the world, and like what to do. So find a safe location, like an earthquake, go under someplace safe. It's the modern way that doors are made. It's not safe to go in a doorway because the construction is different than in the past. What to do about hurricanes, which is very fitting because terrible Hurricane Melissa, with what happened. And to the people of Jamaica, it's very, very sad. I've seen videos and different things, very sad. Like some things to have are like battery powered or hand crank radio, NOAA weather radio with tone alert, flashlight, and other things like that. And some things to have in your home in general, like to have a generator, to have trees trimmed and like shrubs away from the home. That's also important about other things. Clean gutters and downpipes. Have like a safe for important things. Have a hurricane emergency bag, and like, have a plan for your cats and dogs and other pets, and if you have a farm, like different things with tornadoes to do, and like, listen to the local authorities, what they tell to do. Basic needs: water, food, fire, shelter. So like water, to have potable water. So that would be things like having you find a water source, and also even like digging, if it's like near water, to dig near there, and then to get the water. And it also says about also how to even have like a straw, that, or like a filter straw, I forgot what it's called, and collecting water from dew, from condensation, from plants. And this is a way to filter water, even collect and filter water, like have a hole and have plants in there, and the condensation from there. There's one interesting thing here that they had about purification, that basically, I don't think I can find it now, but basically that you have a layer, like, you have a soda bottle, like a 2-3 liter bottle, and that on the bottom you have charcoal, and then above that you have some stones, and above that you have like smaller stones, sand. So the water goes through the levels and it's good filtered. So it's like a natural aquifer in some areas is basically the same thing, but on a giant scale. So you can filter water to do that. And actually charcoal is very helpful, that if like you have ingest some sort of poison, to have like mix some ground up charcoal with water and drink that it absorbs the toxins, which would help to get it out of your system. And like, having electrolytes, like having it's even powder electrolytes you can have in a drink, so you can stay hydrated. With, if like, from being poisoned, you have diarrhea and vomiting, so it's to drink water with electrolytes. Coconut water is something that's good, has electrolytes, or like Gatorade, Powerade. When I got COVID, I basically couldn't eat or drink for a few days. That was the first time I got it, and I basically was just living on like drinking like Gatorade or Powerade for a couple of days to make it through before I could eat anything. So there's different, even like, heating up the water with desalination, if it's like ocean water, and then having a fire for warmth, to cook food, protecting it, like, keep the animals away. So, and it says about the different kinds of wood for it, that like, you need the fuel, the tinder to start it, the kindling is the smaller, and the fuel is the larger pieces of wood, and just goes through some different ways to start like collecting wood, and how to start a fire. There's different forms that you can have it. I think I like that one. I've done this sort of design when camping as a kid, so I've learned some of these skills with Royal Rangers, which is like Boy Scouts, but like with Christianity as well. This is how to get kindling from that. So, and also like to start a fire, like, have a magnifying glass or other things to go and like, have the raised suns to start it. So there's different ways to even start a fire. Ferro rod was mentioned before. They had a picture of it. So this is like, having the stones together, different ways. And this is like a Native American sort of method of starting a fire. And they go have some pictures of it, that there's things to do with one person or two people to do it. And that's some of these ways I never saw before. So it's like interesting to learn that. Sustaining the fire, it goes to even like to keep the fire, you bundle up the fire. Like you bundle up the coals and you bring the coals from one place to another if you have to travel, but it's good to stay in the same place. Reflective fire is to like, you have a wall in the fire, like obviously there's at least a few feet in between it, so that you can go and like, be in between it. And it says about later on about shelters, like an A-frame and different things, and signaling with your phone, even if it doesn't work, or reflective object to planes and other things for help. SOS, having a tree that's away from the other trees, lighting that on fire, like kindling by the bottom, so that like to signal for help. For navigation, the in the northern hemisphere, the southern hemisphere, that I never heard about this. So basically, that to tell about what time you have until like how much daylight, you put up 3 fingers and by the horizon line. So like the horizon is at the bottom here. You put the 3 fingers there. If it's 3, 6, 9, so every 3 fingers is about an hour. So to see how many hours left of daylight you have before nightfall, and like you would want to find some place to stay before night. And it says about with like the moss growing on trees, about different kinds of shelter. So I know there's like the A-frame, a teepee, and about like being sure to keep your body warm with the nighttime. Even the author, she said that like when she was in the Amazon, it's 59 degrees, but she was having hypothermia because from the wind and the rain. So body heat leaves the body in different ways, respiration. So I thought maybe to have like a mask or something on covering your mouth so you can keep that heat to your body. Evaporation, with like exposed parts of the body. So there's different things with that. Then there's different kinds of shelter there, and like, you know, avoid places where there's insects, like ticks also with leaves. Animal pathways are home, so like look for tracks of animals, and like, you know, not too close to the water, dry creek bed, because if there's a rainstorm, a flood, then it would go. And then also like the prevailing winds and like tree branches that look like they can collapse. And then different things about shelter here. So, and then different things. I never heard of this sort of thing. A leaf box to go, basically like you're inside of the leaves to keep warm and hopefully stay out of that. And then like a teepee, a lean-to. I know lean-to from camping. So, and that's like a picture of one of those leaf boxes, lean-to, and have the fire there. So basically you'd want to have it that like you can stay warm and it radiates the heat. The heat goes back and forth because of that, but not too close to go on fire. And like a teepee has in that same regard, and you can have it a few feet up. So different sort of plants that you can use to make kindling, as well as like that you can make out into rope there, and even animal things. And then like, you know, braiding it in different ways that you can and like tying it up to go and thatching for your roofs of temporary shelter. So like, you know, different things. Don't eat or prepare food there, to stay organized. So if like there's emergency, you can get what you need, that to keep some wood dry inside, and don't have the bathroom area there. And for food, about like, you know, having some food to bring with you, but also looking for food too. Some things to avoid, as well as what's like safe to eat, and testing for toxins of like how it looks and the smell, and just have a tiny bit less or more. And then like, you know, the crushed charcoal as like to help if you ate something poison. So, and edible plants, bamboo, stinging nettles, but you have to clean it off. Seaweed. I know there's seaweed salad with Asian, like Asian food, coconuts. And I mentioned that before about with the, like, you know, coconut water. Fauna, flora, like you can eat reptiles, and protein is better than like vegetation, because you get like more calories out of it. It's better for your body in the survival. Insects even to eat, whatever you can, seafood, whatever you can get. And first aid is how it ends. That's why I had the first aid kit as a thing. I actually have another first aid kit. This is my second first aid kit. Well, like with work, not like personal one. So different things about like CPR. Should take a CPR class and learn different medical things to help people, about dressing wounds and other things. A tourniquet, which is like a last resort, because that limb might be able to cut off. And then like different sicknesses that a person can get, of like a heat stroke and different things, the burns, of what to do to help in those things. So this isn't like, you should take some classes to learn more about this, and like, you know, if get a splinter and you don't want it to burst because that's like protecting it. So, and ends off about different things to have in a first aid kit there. So it's a very interesting book. I'm just going to show off this thing here of what's in the auto first aid kit. And it has a lot more things in there, like gauze, bandages, alcohol wipes, or like antiseptic wipes would be something else. Cold pack, gauze, emergency blanket, like, you know, pain medicine, bandages to like clean the wounds, and like, you know, light stick for motion sickness, gloves, and like wipes and different things of that nature. I also would say to have something to, what do you call that word? To have, like, you know, to make water potable that you can drink it, like the straw that filters it, and even the natural method of, like, you know, having the charcoal and the pebbles and the sand, like a mini aquifer. So another thing would be to have like extra socks, a hat, gloves, and different things to like keep your body temperature warm. So this is very like enlightening book. I knew some of these things because I went camping as a kid and I learned some techniques then and like over the years, but it's definitely important to know how to protect yourself and your loved ones in difficult times if you're in an urban environment or out camping and something bad happens. So definitely very important. You can find this book possibly still at Five Below, but I'm sure it's online elsewhere. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, comment, like, share. I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe out there.